This is happening. I know, right? Let me set this up quick. This is a very spontaneous stream. Sorry about that, it's kind of quick, but if you're watching this and you're hoping to know a couple things about this game after you're done with the stream, you're in luck because that's exactly why this stream is happening. Simply put, I had a lot of issues with this game when I started. Like, a lot. Like, you don't understand. I bought the game, I was really excited, a couple people told me about it, and I tried to play it and I was just like, what now? Boring, lame, don't care. Throw it away. Just gone. It was just not right. It just felt off, awkward, just not a thing that I cared about. It was just, no, I don't want to. And then I saw Rever play it. I was just like, oh, there's something here, and I want to play it. And I want to give you everything I know in the first 5 to 10 minutes of this video, and then I'm going to play a little bit on the side. Over there's Betsy. This is my current save. Super fun, super great. You can play this with multiplayer. This is my second car set that I'm buying right now. That's all cool, but that's not what we're here for. First, you start in this area, essentially, kind of like this, with a couple different wagons. And, well, then what do? You're looking for something to do. First, shortcuts on the keyboard. Oh, wow. Breathe and then talk. Shortcuts on the keyboard. The first one, M. M gets you the map. This is your map. You start right here with my arrows. Cool. And then there's a logging camp, sawmill. You can read all of this. Essentially, a lot of different places have resource requirements and products that they produce that you have to ship somewhere else. Everything starts with the logging camp. That's probably something that you should need to know. The logging camp has cordwood and timber, just like big logs, and you want to take those to the sawmill. The sawmill is not that far away, and maybe that's on purpose. The sawmill then turns the timber into lumber. They can be beams or they can be boards, and those are required in, I believe, the iron ore mine and the coal mine, potentially both. Honestly, I don't know. And then I would show you this with the mouse, but I really can't. You just have to read it to the right. And then coal mine and coal ore should be taken to the smelter. And then from the smelter, you have some iron or some steel or something like that and take it to the ironworks. I haven't played that far. That's not what this is about, but this is your map. It's a topographical map where you can actually see where your mountains are because those are important when you lay your track. Cool, that's M. The other important one is P. P is your person. That's how I remember it, just don't worry about it. And that's your XP, and that's your money, and cool. That's something. I mean, there you go. That's your stuff. Money is important for two things. To cut down trees, and to purchase locomotive wagons or engines or anything that's related to a train. Everything else is free right now in the game. That may change. So don't worry about that too much. But to cut down a tree costs $2. How do I know that? This is G. G opens the construction menu. Gunstruction menu. No, that's a terrible joke. And this is all you have to play with, and that's fine. For logging, you just click the logging icon, go to a tree. You click once, cost you $2, and then you fell the tree. This will disappear after a while. Pretty simple. Pretty cool, pretty simple. Awesome, thank you. The other thing that you will use a lot is Rerailing. The other button down here. It's kind of weird. So you click, you see on the top left there, it says Rerail, and there's some instructions, but not really. You go here, you click on Betsy. Now it says Rerail Porter. Cool. If you look around, nothing's going to happen. But if you go on the track and look down, sometimes it's a little iffy. Sometimes it's just a little funky. And I'm obviously not re-railing it right now. Let's try to disconnect you first. Maybe that's your problem. Oh, I clicked the wrong button there. Let's try this again. Let's get Betsy. Re-rail. Yep, that one. And then could you please show up here somewhere? I'm trying to make a tutorial. I'm sorry that this doesn't work. This starter area is a little funky for several different reasons. It's a special area, and there it is. There's Betsy. You see her? The problem is you cannot re-rail her if you look up. You have to look down on the track, and then she just appears in front of you, and that's really all you have to care about. She is not in the right direction right now. Let's see if I can turn you around. Would be great if I could. I worry about that later. But there's Betsy. Once you're happy with her, you can put her down, but you have to look down onto the track, otherwise she's not going to You're not going to be able to rerail it. That was a problem that I had at the beginning forever. And once they're on the track, they kind of wiggle themselves together, and that's cool. The other thing that you probably want to know is how to connect things. Oh boy, there's a couple things that I have to show you. This is not really planned. This is more I would like to show you what I learned, and I hope 10 minutes will give you everything you need to know. I'm trying to do this fast. There are other things, the connectors over here. You look to the top left, it's the coupler. It tells you a bunch of different shortcuts, but they're not very obvious all the time. One, if you have this right next to a wagon, it's not going to work, period. You can do the pins, but you can't do the links. So you can add a link by left mouse button and drag up. Sometimes it takes a little bit. That's your link. Once it's there, good. Once you have that in, you want to connect the pin. That's right button and down. This is all explained in the top left, so I'm assuming you're probably fine with that, but that's what it is. If you want to remove them, you just do the opposite movements and then you're fine. Cool. The other thing, this is a steam locomotive. F. You can't see this right now, but F gets you into the machine, looks like this, and there are different controls and different numbers. There's boiler pressure, 120 is max, water temperature, 110 is pretty close, water level, we need to refill this, fire temperature, 400 is max, and fuel, 50 is max. Those are the numbers, it's fine. If you want to start the machine, make sure they have boiler pressure, set your reverser to whatever you want, backwards is, or negative 100% is reverse, and 100% is not reverse, forward. Regulator is essentially your speed, and then take off your brake, and there she goes. Pretty simple. If you want to brake, you can either hit the brakes 100%, or you can move, and then you click F again. F essentially triggers the brakes automatically. Pretty easy. Then there's another thing that you have to do. There's wood over here. It doesn't really say it. Well, it does say it on the top left. You left click up to 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You saw that wood went away there. That's how you pick up wood. Right click puts it down. And that's also how you have to refill this. So right, 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 right. So now this is full again. At some point this will be empty and then you don't have wood. How are you going to get more? I'll show you. But first, how do you put it in the kettle over here? You just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each log adds about 10 fuel, just for you to know. Point at the oven and right click and you throw it directly in there. You look at the bottom left now, fuel is at 50. 50 is max, so once you have 50 in there, you don't have to add anything more. And then, yeah, that's it. You're good to go now. The fire temperature will go up, and that's what you really care about. You want about 400 here. That's a good one. Yep, and the other controls are pretty self-explanatory, I think. So I'll leave those alone. Placing other things. Okay. In the G menu, locomotives, I'll show you that real quick. It's pretty self-explanatory. You go in here. This is where you buy all your vehicles. They cost different amounts of money, and you can grind your way up there, and that's fine. The only thing I will tell you to look at is what the cars can actually transport. For example, the flat car, this is what you start with, can only do logs and steel pipe. Cool. The tier 2 car can do lumber, raw iron, rail beam. Got it? And so on. You just look at what you want to transport, and then they have different prices, and that should be pretty self-explanatory there. Great. The other thing, demolish, is pretty easy. I'll show you that in just a second. You have these groundworks, variable grade and constant grade. One is more like dirt and one is a stone wall. They both do essentially the same thing. They're just the bed for the sleepers for the rail. I'll show you what these two do. If you have a constant grade, you pick wherever you want to start it. I'm going to click there, and then I'm going to go over here. You can't see anything because it's essentially flat ground. You can change the grade with E, you see that? And with Q. E goes up, Q goes down. Okay, I'll show you what the constant grade does. You go over here, you go a little further, you can see how essentially this whole grade is pretty constant. If you have constant grade, then your whole length of dirt that you have selected will stay the same. Doesn't matter if you have clicked somewhere or not, because if I now press E, everything goes up. If I now press Q, everything goes down. That is constant grade for you. If you're done with it, you can right click and there you go. There's your grade. If you don't like what you did, you just take the demolish tool, click on it, click on it, click on it, wherever it is, and then you're done with that. Contrast to that, you have the variable grade. It's very similar, but different. Guess what? Guess what's different? I'm going to press E here to just get it up here so we can see it. And I click there, And I move out a little bit, and now if you click Q, only the piece that you currently have selected is actually changing the height. The piece before then is not changing the height. Pretty cool, but once you know it, you're better off, I think. So there's that, and again, same thing, you click again and then you right click, then you deselect it. You can also hit G for deselecting sometimes. Doesn't work super great though. So those are your simple grades. You have facilities over here. We actually need the water tower right now. I'm not going to leave it here, but just for simplicity reasons. You see that little board at the bottom there? That needs to be somewhat connected to the rail, like to the sleepers on the rail. And if you have this issue where you don't see the board, it probably means you're a little off. You can fix that with your groundworks. Go constant grade, click on wherever you want. So the bottom of the arrow is the starting height for this piece. Just pull it out, certain amount, that looks good. Then select the facility that you had again, water tower, and now you can see that board. Put it relatively close to the rail. It doesn't have to be perfect, but now you placed it. There's your water tower. Here is my locomotive. Click on the locomotive, tell him to go forward just a little bit while we still have water, while we still have boiler pressure. Don't have to go super far. I'm gonna go right there. Sorry, I should have done that with the real brake. But there's your water tower. Now, I heard that there are problems with this. All you have to do is once you look at it, it's highlighted yellow if you're close enough. Good. And then don't freak out. All you have to do is move your mouse down just a tiny bit. Like, I'm not moving my mouse continuously, I just move it a tiny bit. And it will come down. Eventually, it will start water will start flowing. That's what you want. You do want to put it as much on top of this guy as you can. And then if you're not sure if it's actually working, you go into your cabin and then you look at the water level. Water level's going up. It's not constant all the time, so be aware of that, but your water level's going up. That's what you want, just a little bit of water at a time. If you can add, or if you can put this more directly over the chute, it goes a little faster, I believe, but 500 is your max. Cool. Now we know that. Once you're done with that, and once you don't want the water tower anymore, same thing as before, demolish, demolish, done. How do you get wood? Pretty easy. It's also a facility, firewood depot. Looks like this. You can honestly place it anywhere you want. I do believe, I haven't done this, but I do believe you can actually ship in your own wood on this side and you get paid for it. But I haven't done that. But you get these piles of wood here. Your firewood is, since one update, it will actually tell you how much firewood is in there. You look at it and you left click. I got 5 firewood out of there, and now I'm going to go in here and put 5 firewood in there, and you can continue doing this until you're done with it. You don't have to place this in an awkward spot like I just did. You can place it wherever you want. You can also place it whenever you're like going somewhere, so if you're running out of things, you can take care of it there. But here I am, just refilling this, and you do that, I believe, for all of the other locomotives as well. So be aware of that. This is pretty neat. There we go, and then I'm just going to use 5 more to throw into the oven. Cool, that's working. And then I know that I don't want this here, so I'm just going to delete it again. Easy enough. Easy peasy. Cool. So anything else in here? Yes, there are bridges and rails. Bridges work similar to groundwork, not exactly, and then there are rails. I want to show you both, because there are some tricks that I wasn't aware of yet. G to dismiss that. Let's go into an open area so I can actually show you something, because this is now track laying 101. The things that you don't know without a tutorial, probably. Maybe some of you will figure it out, but I didn't. I sure didn't. First things first. G, I'm going to start with groundwork. Constant grade. I would like, actually no, I'm going to start with G variable grade so I can actually show you where this is. I'm going to go up just a little bit to that level. I'm going to leave it there. And now I'm going to go constant grade from the top here so you can actually see what we're doing. You can make this relatively straight or relatively long, even in real life, or not in real life, but when you actually play. So this is pretty nice. You can pop that down. And then I don't know if you can see this, but it's actually curving after you place the first piece. So it's not just a weird angle. It actually tried to curve here a little bit. And that brings us to the next point. This is where we're going to start. Next point, how do you lay track? Pretty simple. You have rails, you have the switches, and the difference between these is I think they're right switches and left switches, and each one's difference is where this selector is, where the actual switch is. That's the only difference. Then you have 3-foot rail. You're going to use this the most. 3-foot rail deck. This usually goes on your bridges. Turntables should be pretty self-explanatory, and then crossover 90. This one is very important for building track, and I'll explain why right now. You place this as your first track. You don't have to do this, but just as a sample, you can also connect these. For example, if you have 2 places that go together, you have that little chain icon right above the track. If you see that and you click down, these will be perfectly connected the way they are, just like this. Cool. That's one trick. The other one is if you want straight track. Now, often you will find that you can't just start laying straight track right away, or something goes really off. What you need to do is lay the first piece. The first piece steers a lot. So you see this icon that I have there? So we're going to link that, and we're going to link it at the end. There are no collisions. You can see that. There are no collisions, so be aware of that. And now you can lay your track down. And you can just do it however you want. You can turn it a little bit. This is freehand. This is one way to do this. It's not the right or the wrong way. And this is why you put your gravel down, because it actually follows the ground a little bit. So now if you go up here, there's an ugly little steep thingy there, and that's not always good for your train. This is lane track, just the basics. You could just left click until you get where you want to. Cool. Is there a better way to lay track? Absolutely. I found that out today. And that's where we're going to go next. It is very important that you lay track in a way that your trains can actually drive on that track, because if your turns are too sharp, they can't go on there. If you're not connected exactly right, they will derail. You will derail a lot at the beginning, so don't worry about that too much, but just be aware. Okay, lane track. This is how it goes. You don't have to do this every time. I just find that if you want straight track, this is your best option. You come out here, and you can see this is wiggling right now. We don't want it to wiggle. If you look to the top left, there are a bunch of options. Curve radius, left mouse button, right mouse button, X, Y, left Alt. Left Alt is your friend. That's what you want. That's what you want to look for. If I have my curve radius set to 0 degrees, and I'm doing this right now, looking to the left, I'm pressing left Alt. And then I wiggle. You see this? Straight. This is straight. This is perfectly straight. No problem straight. It's exactly what you want. This only works, though, if your first piece is already straight, which our first piece is through this crossover section. So if I press left Alt again, now I can move it, and it's whatever it is. Pressing Alt keeps it straight. That will make your life really easy. This also works on the ground contours, like the gravel and the bridges and everything else. So that's the first one. Straight piece of track. Cool. Straight piece of track. Sometimes it doesn't want to click everywhere, so just find the place where it wants to go. I'm thinking it's because it's not long enough or something else. So just be aware of that. And now you have a turn. There are a couple options here that you can follow. The first option is just make your own turn. And when you place these rails, be aware that the rails self-straightens themselves a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. So you see that nick on the right there? If I place this down, it tries to correct it. It tries to correct it. It doesn't necessarily do it well, but it tries. And that sometimes is good enough. So when you place a track, you don't have to be super exact, but exact enough. The other way you can do this, and I'm going to show you that, I would like to just delete this guy, actually. It won't let me. Okay, there you go. You can do it a little more exact with angles and degrees and stuff. And I'll show you that. Also something that I found out today, and then we're pretty close to the end of the stuff that's noteworthy. Again, here I'm going to hit my left Alt. I'm going to have a straight rail. Cool. I still have left Alt on, and now I'm going to hit X. You see that? Curve radius increases. That also means this rail increases in the radius, and that's what we want. Obviously, we're on the wrong side, so I'm going to start pressing, what is it here, Y. If you're on an American keyboard, that's on the top, like it's really far away from the X. If you're on a German keyboard, that is right next to the X, so it makes sense that it's there. I do believe you can change the key combinations or key shortcuts. So we can place it wherever we want. Once it lets me place it, cool, right there's the place. And then it will continue going at the angle that you just gave it. This is just a really shallow angle, so I'm going to increase that to, I don't know, 20. I will say don't go over 30 degrees. That will derail your trains more often than you would like. So here's a really, really harsh angle. You come in here and eventually you're going to be done. And you can, at the end, if you want to, you can just straighten out again. Sadly, you have to click. There's no shortcut, but here you straighten out again. And then there's nothing underneath the track right here, and that will cause issues every once in a while, but there you go. How does our track look? It's relatively smooth. It's not perfect, but it's relatively smooth and a lot smoother than the first track that I laid. So that's actually pretty nice. That's how you can lay track with curves. That's how you use the tools that they give you. I think that is very important, and that was a thing I was definitely, absolutely missing when I started this game, which is why I returned it the first time. Now, I don't want to put it down at all. I just want to keep playing this game because there's so much to do. I may have played 12 hours now total, not even, but I just want to do more. Oops, I didn't mean to delete that guy. Doesn't matter, we're actually going to do something a little different right now. We are going to set up a simple siding. I say simple. I think it's simple, but it may be getting complicated. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I'm just gonna extend out this track. And again, you can just press Alt for the toggle radius, and then you can use the same, press the wrong button there. You can press Alt, and then you have the same options as before, where you either just slide around like this, or on Alt, you're just gonna stay straight. That's really helpful because when you run into trees, they will take you off track. It's really, really awkward when that happens. So this should help. Just painting this out a little bit. It's not perfect. I don't need it to be perfect right now. But what we're going to do is lay some switches. Let's do this one. Honestly, it doesn't matter. This is how they look. Switches want to be on flat ground. So it's really important that you lay down some track bed so you can actually put these sleepers down in the right way. Now that I have one up here, you can actually switch these. You can see everything is moving. It's pretty cool. If you run into a switch that is not set correctly, you will derail every time. That's not important from this side, because from this side you can effectively go both ways. But if it's set the way it is right now, where you go to the left and you enter on this side, you will essentially run into a wall right here. Don't do that. You always want to stop and set it to the correct orientation, otherwise you are just screwed. Cool. The next thing you want to do is lay some straight track right after the switch. If you don't do that, you can get it straight enough by yourself, but if you don't do that, you may derail too, maybe just sometimes randomly derail. So the tip that I heard that's really working is put one of these 90-degree angles down, use your 3-foot rail, and you don't have to do that right now, but it helps. Use your 3-foot rail, connect it there, and then do the trick that we already talked about, where you just go straight. And now you have very straight track. Cool. Pretty simple, right? Obviously, once you're done, you're going to go back and delete the piece of rail that you don't care for anymore, right there. And now you have a perfectly straight track. Cool. What do you do with this one? Well, you can make a real siding. Get another switch, looks like this. You can connect these only from this side. You cannot turn this or anything, so you can't connect them from the other side. But now you can just go in here and connect as many of these tracks as you want. You can combine them or do whatever you want with them. And then if you want to make sure that you're parallel, you just set them up like this, like we just did before, and run your rail out pretty evenly. Did that wrong. Okay, I think you get the gist of this one. Yeah, I'm losing my concentration here, but that's essentially what you do here, and you can make really nice looking rail yards and other things. The easiest thing that I will tell you for connecting these is just going to the end and running these switches opposite. Don't use this as your main track, is what I'm saying. Like where it just goes straight through and everything joins back up to it. Just have this track at the end go left and then connect to the rest of the track right here. Makes life a little easier, and you can always use different combinations of joining switches together. For example, if I have this switch here, and I know that I want to connect to the switch on that side, you can just go however you want this. You can just go place another thing, and you can make this, put this in the air, obviously, right now, the way it is. Connect that one there. Plop down your, or delete your switch that you just had, and now you use the same switch, just in the opposite direction, and it will connect the correct way. No, it won't. I lied. There are a couple tricks here that I've seen online. I don't care for them that much. But if you want to do this, there's a way to figure this out. I think it's just a combination of using the correct 90-degree angles for the different places. But that is really all I have for the track laying. So hope you learned something, because I will start playing the game now. I actually really like this game. And then I'll play it here for a little bit, but if you like this kind of stuff on my channel, I tend to play games like this more on my Discord stream than on the live streams, simply because Discord allows me to connect with you guys more, lets me talk to you, you can talk to me, and we can actually, you know, hang out instead of just me talking at you the whole time. I think that's worth it. It's completely up to you if you agree or not, but just wanted to let you know this. The link is in the description if you want to join my Discord channel, so that will be cool. Let me refresh this chat again, because usually it's not this quiet. Or even Orion, how's it going? Yeah, my chat is just not working ever. That's quite annoying. Anyways, we got all of that out of the way. I have set up, or there's some track here. It is not perfect track by any means, but it gets me by, and I like it. I would like to just pick up one load of lumber and get it to the goods house right now. I would like a little bit of money, because right now I don't have enough money to actually cut many trees down, which is really a problem, so I have to fix that. First, Betsy, I would like to have you go the other way, if that's possible. The other way. Okay, you don't like it there. Good, got it. Try to re-rail you again. I have her... Nope, she just doesn't want to play ball there. How about here? Well, if this is how you want to play, then I will just let you play this way. Because if it does want to turn around, I can, one, just use a turntable. That will be an option. Fuel is down. And temperature is down because I talk too much. So fill this up. Get the regulator on. Turn the reverser to forward. That's fine. Brake. I do have a runaround track here. That should get me exactly to where I need to go. Again, this is not the prettiest, but it's fine for right now. I need to make sure that all my signals and my switches are set up correctly. Yes, wow, I don't know how long it took me to say all of this, but really appreciate it if you guys watched all of this. Why are we... Yeah, there's 4 tracks, yes. That's right, I want to bump into one of those. So here's my poorly laid track. This was before I knew everything that I just told you, which is super, super, super sad, but that's okay. You know what? Anyone that's currently watching or wants to hang out, I will turn this thing around, connect it, and then that will be the end of this stream, because it was more. I wanted to tell you everything that I knew, and then I'm going to hop onto the Discord and just stream from there. If you want to hang out, that means we can talk to each other. That's up to you, though. You don't have to. This switch is looking the wrong way. We don't have to, but I like it because it just gives everyone an option to hang out and chat and do all that stuff. I've had a lot of good conversations that way, so I'm happy with continuing that if you guys want to. Yes, let's get you in here. Over there. And I like to use F to stop, because I have to stop anyways, so don't be mad at me. That looks good. You are all set up correctly, so yeah, I can just now go back up into the wagons, hook all of those up, and that should get me going. Do the brake, regulator. Oh, and gravity is a real thing. Gravity will pull you down and derail you, and if you lose a cart or something, if you go up a hill or a steep slope, they will just start rolling. So be aware of that. That's a real thing in this game, and I think it's kind of cool. Go train, go! Fire temperature is okay. The boiler pressure is what I really care about. Okay, and here is where I don't just hit F to brake, because I'm actually going to try to bump into these more gently, and then slow down at a decent pace like that. There you go. Just a little more, because now they're all on the way back. Regulators off. Not helping. And I'll show you something else here real quick. The wagons themselves, but they actually have a pretty good, well, tutorials is a strong word for that, but they actually have indicators for what you need to do. Turn that on, turn this on. Here, these guys. And for some reason they're not on for me. Left is open. No, left is open. And right is closed. And that's just the brakes that you can turn on and off. So all new wagons will come with brakes. And I made a mistake. I thought I did this before I saved the game, but I didn't. I'm not going to be able to put a link in there right now. So I have to go forward just a little bit. And I have to go backwards just a little bit. And here's the thing. I will see you in the Discord stream if you want to hang out. If not, that's fine. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you again next time. Bye.